Being successful does not make you a good mentor or guarantee good advice. What's going on, guys? Ryan Pineda here. It's an exciting day because you have stumbled upon the very first Ask Ryan video. This is a brand new series we're starting where I'm answering questions in my DMs. So if you want me to answer your question, head over to Instagram, give me a follow, and start submitting your questions. And this series is gonna be a lot more raw than my other videos, so if you do like this kind of content, definitely check out my podcast where it's very similar. All right, first question comes from my friend Patty Galloway. He says, how do you stay hungry after the first million? Now, for those of you who don't know, Patty is a friend of mine. He's a YouTuber. He does YouTube videos on other people, on other YouTubers and what it takes to be a great YouTuber. And he's done some consulting for me. So we've talked a lot in depth about money and channels and different things. But Patty, what I would say is if you want to stay hungry after your first million, you got to just realize that $1 million's not really a lot of money at the end of the day. You know, people think that, oh, if I just had $1 million, I could go retire today. And $1 million doesn't last you very long. You still have to go invest it in other things to make sure that it keeps giving you a return. But, you know, it's, with inflation and everything else, it's not gonna be something that is enough for most people down the road. So I would first say 1 million shouldn't be the benchmark really for anybody because it's not gonna be that much as time goes on. Second thing for me is that I've never focused on having a monetary goal and like hitting that goal and just stopping. I know that there's people that preach financial independence and having that right cash flow number, and they just want to get there. And once they get there, they feel like they're set. They can go retire. And to me, I've never wanted to do that. I don't want to retire. I like making videos. I like starting businesses. I like working. And if I just ever had that mindset of, once I reach this level, I'm done, I would not be where I'm at. So I think it goes back to changing how you think about things and saying, well, I don't really care about making $1 million. All I care about is getting better every single day. I care about optimizing my current, in your case, YouTube videos, being a better consultant, doing all the things that, you need to do in your day-to-day job. For me, I want to get better at making my businesses grow. I want to become a better dad. I want to become a better father. I want to become a better creator. And if I just do those things every day, my life's going to end up in a really good spot. And I don't even know where that spot is. It could be, $1 billion. Who knows? But it's not like that's the goal. And once I hit it, I'm stopping. Soy Ingrid asks, can you please run for president? Well, after I made the Joe Biden video, I actually lost subscribers doing it. So I don't know if people are really rooting for Pineda 2024 yet, but you never know. David Delahunty asks, thoughts on flipping homes during the winter months? FYI, I live in areas that snow. So every market's different, David. I personally flip in the winter, and in Vegas, historically, the winter's always been slower than the spring and the summer. But it doesn't mean that I'm just gonna stop buying houses because the season's not good. If I offered you a house at half of market value, are you telling me you wouldn't buy it because it's the winter? So I think you gotta just accept that anytime you can buy a house for the right price. Now, if you know that maybe it's not gonna sell as quickly as it would during the summer or the spring, just anticipate that into your hold time when you're buying it. All right, Matt asked me, hey Ryan, quick question for you. How do you stay focused on tasks for long periods of time? I'm a college student and focus seems to be a consistent problem of mine. Any advice would be greatly appreciated. Well, here's one thing. I don't think you can be focused for long periods of time, not at a high level. One of the biggest things that I teach and preach to many different people is that you need to start taking your day and condensing it to as short as possible. So if you normally work, say, 8 hours a day and you get a certain amount of things done, I truly believe that if you worked 4 hours a day, you could figure out how to get it done. You might have to change how you do things. You might have to cut out some things, but I do believe that most people waste a ton of time. Now, as it relates to you and focusing, there's multiple reasons why you might not be focusing. One reason could be you're just working too long, like I just said in this first example. If you say that you're gonna finish this project and it's gonna take you 4 hours, you shouldn't work 4 hours straight. You might be really productive that first hour, but after that, the next 3 hours are just trash. So my advice would be to work, say, 30 minutes or an hour, really hardcore, really focused, take a break. Maybe it's 15 minutes, maybe it's 30 minutes, then jump on it, and you should be refreshed and ready to focus again. So I think you might be just doing it for too long a periods at a time. But the second thing is, for me, I found that I lose focus when I'm doing things that I don't enjoy or like. And so if you're in school, my guess is there's probably a lot of classes you don't like. That's just how school is. You got to take classes that honestly have no relevance to you, and you're forced to take it or you can't graduate. So my guess is you're probably taking science class or something that you don't like, and you just don't really want to do it. So that sucks. But one thing to keep in mind is, as you go on outside of college, and if you do become an entrepreneur or an investor, you can focus on the things you do like. You have the option. In my businesses, there are many things I don't like doing. If I try to go in spreadsheets and crunch the numbers, if I try to, analyze details of little things and just like bookkeeping, my mind melts. I cannot do it. But if I'm out there negotiating, if I'm making a video, if I am leading people and talking to people, I enjoy that. I could literally do it all day and have complete focus. But the moment I go do things I don't like in my business, which have to be done, by the way, but I'm able to go delegate them to somebody else who does enjoy it, everyone wins. They have a job that, pays them good. I get to do what I like to do. Business does well because everyone's doing what they need to do, and we all succeed together. So in school, I don't really have the answer for you, because it's not like you can go delegate. Well, I guess you could go pay someone to do your homework, but you can't do that. Okay, I'm not telling you to do that. But in the real world, you can. So think about that as you get out of college. All right, from Keep Her Safe. Hey Ryan, huge fan. I loved your content. I have a question. How do you pick the right mentor? This is a very common question I get, whether it's in the DMs, whether it's at events like this one I'm at now. It's not my normal background. I'm here in Austin, Texas at FinCon, and I had a pop-up meetup last night where many people asked me, like, who should I pick as my mentor? There's all these guru coaching programs and different things. Here's my advice. I don't care if you pick my program or somebody else's, okay? That's irrelevant to the matter. But when it comes to picking the right mentor, okay, we're not talking about getting the right mentor. Getting them's a different story. You might have to go pay a mentor. You might have to go add value to them some way. You go work for them for free. You go find them a deal, whatever that looks like. But if you want to pick the right mentor, okay, assuming there's the pick of the litter, what I would not do is pick somebody who wants to tell you how they did it and that's how you should do it, okay? Because the world is changing, right? Everyone has different skill sets. The skill set that made me successful is not the same skill set that might make you successful, okay? I think we can both succeed in, say, real estate investing. I believe anyone can have success in real estate. But it doesn't mean that because I was out there, maxing out my credit cards and getting deals myself, that doesn't mean that I expect you to do that, right? You may be way less risk averse than me, okay? You may not be a very good salesperson, but you might like crunching the numbers like I talked about earlier. And so if you're good at that, your path in real estate's gonna be a little bit different. You might need somebody to go be on the front lines and negotiate deals. Whereas I was that guy doing that. We're both getting the same end result, but we're personally going about it in a different way. And so when I hear people say, you have to do it this way because that's what I did and I'm successful, I think they're really stupid. Just because someone is successful does not mean that they give good advice. And I give you one story real quick that illustrates this. When the pandemic hit last year in 2020, I went to a ton of my mentors, people that, I call mentors, they're very successful in real estate. And I asked them, I said, what should we do right now? And they said, Ryan, you need to back out of these deals. You need to run. Things are about to fall off a cliff. And I said, I don't know if I agree with that, guys. And they said, Ryan, you don't get it, okay? You're too young. I don't care how successful you've been recently. You didn't go through the '08 financial crash. You don't know what we know, blah, blah, blah. And you know, I respected them. They're more wealthy than me. They have a higher net worth. They've done more deals than me. But at the end of the day, they said, it's not worth the risk. And I looked at them and I said, well, do you mean it's not worth the risk for you? Because I think it's worth the risk for me. And the key difference is for them, they'd already made it. They're already successful. They're older. It's just not worth the risk for them to take it at any point. Versus a young guy like me, it was my chance to make a mark and take advantage and basically have this market that potentially, you know, looks like the 2009, 2010 market when, you know, all these guys were buying and no one else could. And I was like, I see an opportunity. Nobody wants to buy, but I can. And so I did. I said, you know what, guys? I respect everything you guys have to say, your wisdom, but I don't agree with you. Just because you don't want to do it in your situation does not mean it's a bad choice for me. And I ended up being right. And for them, I think they still ended up being right for them. You know, the risk wasn't worth it. Did they miss out on potential money they could have made? For sure. But the risk wasn't worth it for them, whereas it was worth it for me. And I'll say that I've seen this play out time and time again in my life with successful people who just cannot think other than themselves. And it's not that they're selfish or they're, you know, bad people. It's just they're so single-minded on how they did it that they cannot tell other people how to do it. And it sucks, and I think that's actually a very bad trait as a mentor. A mentor should be able to think for you, in your situation, what's best with your skill set, your resources, your time that you have, and all your different talents and abilities, okay? If they cannot think from that perspective, if they think from their perspective only, then in my opinion, they're a bad mentor. And in fact, if anyone gives me advice as a mentor, or just anybody who's successful, and they're only like, it's just black and white, this is the only way to succeed because that's what I did, and they only think from their point of view, I immediately dismiss them. I will not listen because they cannot objectively think about other people and different talents that they have. And doesn't mean they can't be successful, it just means they're a crappy mentor and they shouldn't, you know, you shouldn't really pay attention to what they have to say because there's two differences between being successful for yourself and helping other people be successful. Anyways, hopefully that was helpful. If you enjoyed this segment and you want your question answered, head over to my Instagram, go give me a follow and submit your questions, and we'll catch you on the next one.